So hello everybody, this is Bhante Joe here, and just here at the ruins of Endagala, which is nice. Haven't been here for a while, and a very nice peaceful place. And so I thought to record a short Owada for the internet. So I thought that maybe we could start with just a little bit of meditation. So maybe we can lean forward a little bit and arch the spine, and look about 3 feet in front, and close our eyes. And can think thoughts of goodwill, wishing may all beings to my right-hand side be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can make our minds infinite, can make them unbounded, all the way to the ends of the universe and beyond, in every dimension. May all beings to my right-hand side be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right-hand side and our left-hand side. May all beings to my right and my left-hand side be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can make our minds infinite, can make them unbounded, all the way to the ends of the universe and beyond, in every dimension. May all beings to my right and my left be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right-hand side, to our left-hand side, and in front. May all beings to my right, my left, and in front be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right-hand side, our left-hand side, in front and behind, in all 4 directions. May all beings in all 4 directions be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right-hand side, our left-hand side, in front, behind, and above. May all beings in all 4 directions and above be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right-hand side, our left-hand side, in front, behind, above, below, all around, everywhere, in every direction. May all beings all around, everywhere, in every direction be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can make the mind infinite, can make it unbounded, all the way to the ends of the universe and beyond, in every dimension. May all beings all around, everywhere, be happy and at ease. And we can open our eyes and do a short reflection on the Dhamma. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. So hope that everybody is having a great day wherever it might be. And yeah, things have been coming along here at the monastery. Our senior monk, one of our senior monks changed kuṭis, and so just went to see a friend of mine, or a monk friend of mine, who he had changed kuṭis, and he was just kind of painting these big, wooden, blinds that roll down to keep the rain out of the kuṭi. And this past kind of while in Sri Lanka, it's been kind of very rainy, so lots of rain. And with all this rain, the kind of blinds get a little bit moldy. So he kind of broke out the blinds and kind of scrubbed them down with this kind of toilet brush and got the mold off. And then I think must have dried them. And then just now I went to see, and he kind of varnished these blinds so that they'll kind of last for a long time. And it kind of might be a nice kind of a metaphor for for practice in there. Because in a similar way, you know, there's these different ways that people can practice. They can practice in such a way that they build things up very quickly, but then those things don't have a solid foundation, and so they fall away. Or they can kind of practice in such a way that they build things up, but build it up with a foundation that lasts a long time. So in a similar way, kind of, you know, when you get these kind of blinds, these blinds are very nice out the box, you know, kind of set them up and roll them down. But if these blinds aren't varnished, when the weather gets kind of rainy and damp, then mold tends to kind of grow on these blinds, and then eventually, you know, can even be hard to sit in there. And so in the same way, a person might kind of hear, you know, about meditation or be interested in meditation. Right now, there's a lot of kind of really good, or, you know, there's different retreats that people can go on, especially is a good thing. People have these kind of busy lives, and, you know, it's hard to kind of get time to, say, like spend a significant amount of time every single day doing meditation. And so it's kind of nice, it's useful and wonderful to go on a retreat. I remember reading a story about, you know, actually I remember going on retreats myself and finding them immensely beneficial. Kind of, you know, they would, you know, kind of the nice beneficial effects of them seem to last a long time. Kind of, you know, like a 3 or 5 day retreat, you know, might last like maybe 3, you know, the beneficial effects of that felt like, you know, they might last maybe 3, remembering as a layman, like, lasts a long time anyway, maybe a couple months or more. And, these things about these kind of retreats, is kind of very set schedule. And one can kind of adhere to that schedule. One can kind of do it. One comes out of that schedule feeling very inspired. So I remember, after going on my first retreat, it was kind of like, you get up at, like, I don't know, maybe 5 a.m. or 4:45 a.m. And I think you had to be in the meditation hall at 5:30 a.m. And you do these kind of like really cold water bath, kind of rub downs, and kind of exercising outside in the summer, kind of long hours of sitting meditation. And I remember that after that kind of retreat, I got really inspired. I think it was after that retreat I got really inspired, and I think greatly increased the amount of meditation that I was doing. Kind of jumped into that retreat not really knowing what I was getting into, but after that kind of jumped into doing quite a lot of meditation, sitting in, trying to sit for really long periods of time, and sleeping, reducing my sleep. But then remember, kind of I was working in construction at that time, in the summertime. I'm not a professional construction worker. I don't have that many skills, but remember I would drive to work in Toronto from Pickering, and I was kind of reducing my sleep so much that I kind of fall asleep all the time on the road. And I remember this one time getting on the on-ramp to the off-ramp to go to Pickering and falling asleep in one lane. I think I must have passed one lane and maybe ended up in the next lane. So like the three lanes, So in other words, this kind of practice of reducing my sleep, kind of living like I was on retreat, wasn't something sustainable. And actually, kept trying to increase, the difficulty of the positions that I was sitting in, and, the length of time that I was sitting. And actually, at one point, I ended up really hurting my back, kind of trying to pick up this big computer monitor after that. And so this is kind of like the blinds that come out of the box, ready-made, but don't have the varnish on them to keep them lasting a long time. In other words, kind of got inspired by this retreat. Sitting for a long period of time is good, reducing sleep is good, but I hadn't integrated that as part of a lifestyle. Okay, my lifestyle hadn't evolved or adapted to make those things sustainable. So trying to take them on, tacking them on to my regular lifestyle, kind of wouldn't work out. Kind of ended up with injuries, and luckily I didn't get into any car crashes, but that was also an option. Kind of if I kept doing that, then I might have, Actually, I think I started drinking a lot of coffee after that. But then there's this other kind of option for our practice of meditation, for our Buddhist practice, which is that we get the blinds out of the box. But when we get them out of the box, we also varnish them. We put on this sealant. It takes a little bit longer. You kind of have to prepare them, hang them up, varnish them, paint them. But then after they've been sealed, after they've dried well, they can last a long time. And in the same way, in a similar way at least, there's these aspects when a person starts getting into their meditation, starts getting into trying to develop a lifestyle that's more moral, more wholesome, more happy. There's ways that one can do it where one's lifestyle actually starts to mold around these qualities. And when this happens, these things become sustainable, because it's not just a kind of an addition that's tacked onto one's life. One's life starts to become permeated with these things, and one's life starts to adapt. It starts to evolve around these things, so that these just basically become one's life, not just kind of something that one might do for a week or 2 weeks or whatever it might be. And of course, when these things become integrated into one's life, that's where one's whole life starts to change. So I remember reading a while back, there's this passage in the canon where the Buddha says that there's people who attain concentration through these kind of forceful fabrications of exertion. And there's people who attain, but at a later time they can attain this concentration that's peaceful and sublime and various things. And he says the first one is by forcefully suppressing the defilements. And so this is the kind of way it can be for people when they come to their Buddhist practice. It can be very kind of inspiring, kind of First time a person comes, or first time a person hears about Buddhist teachings, first time a person goes on a meditation retreat, there's this kind of tremendous uplift. It's a new thing, and one can be kind of very excited putting all one's effort into it, which is great. And kind of forcefully suppressing these defilements, forcefully suppressing the bad qualities of mind that have caused one to suffer, which is also, it's also a good thing, because this allows one to get a kind of taste of what's possible in a Buddhist lifestyle. But unless these things are like the blinds that are varnished, then if one doesn't hold on to them well, then they can easily fall apart, can become kind of moldy when it starts to rain. In other words, just trying to sustain that over and over again when it hasn't integrated into one's life can be like me. I kind of fall asleep and go 2 lanes over, or keep trying to sit in a really too long in a posture that my body isn't ready for and get an injury. So instead of that, what one can do, or in addition to that, if one gets a taste of these things, what one can do is try to take the approach of kind of varnishing the blinds. In other words, this is a little bit more slow. One kind of gradually, both things. One kind of can do the retreats and get inspired, do all these various things. But it can also be good to ask oneself, can I do this for a month? Can I do this for 2 months? Can I do this for 6 months? Can I do this for a year? And to try to establish a practice where one is growing bit by bit, over and over a longer period of time. And this is like a person who varnishes the blinds, so that when it rains, those blinds don't get moldy. They don't become something that goes bad, because they've been developed very slowly. So in the same way, when one molds one's lifestyle around one's Buddhist practice, one's lifestyle around morality, one's lifestyle around virtue, one's lifestyle around concentration, this is when eventually at least my reading of that sutta, is that a person can kind of develop these things that are peaceful and sublime. In other words, this just becomes part of one's lifestyle, part of one's kind of normal way of doing things. And this is when one's level of happiness can get raised. The bar of one's level of happiness can get raised. So it isn't just a kind of one-off thing. It's the kind of normal way that one lives. One's level of happiness increases. And also when one has these things, it forms a basis by which one can start to reach for higher aspects of the Buddhist teachings. So in all these ways, when one moves forward step by step, one gets the blinds, one unpacks them, one varnishes them, one sets them up and lets them dry so that they last a long time. Those blinds can protect one from all these various inclement weather. Actually, it's starting to rain a bit now. And when we roll them down, they can keep the water out and they won't go bad. And in the same way, when we develop these wholesome qualities, or similar way, when we develop these wholesome qualities, we develop the Buddhist path in a way that it integrates with our lifestyle. It becomes our lifestyle. It becomes our way of living. Then these things can shield us from the negative influence of unwholesome qualities. They can shield us from the bad things that might come, like the kind of rain that makes things damp. And in this way, one's level of happiness can raise, and one can move towards developing those levels of concentration, those levels of happiness that are peaceful and sublime, that become part of one's life, that become part of one's way of living, and that allow one to reach higher on the Buddhist path. Reach higher for the noble attainments, reach higher for the ending of suffering. Okay, so leave that for reflection, and hope that everybody has a great day wherever it might be, and wishing you all the best till next time.